In 1982, Chevy would introduce the third generation Camaro, which continued through the 1992 model year. The Z28 came standard with a 4-barrel 5-liter V8, while this particular die-cast car is equipped with the optional LU5 twin TBI crossfire injected 5-liter. This fuel-injected 305 was rated at 165 horsepower and was clocked at 9.7 seconds in the 0 to 60. Performance enthusiasts of the day gave the new Camaro positive reviews for its styling and handling, but also made critical remarks about the relatively low power ratings for the Z28. Let's zoom in and we'll have a look at some of the details. The side markers are just painted in yellow on raised metal. The wheels are 15-inch cast aluminum 5-spoke wheels with silver accents. I really like the white lettered BF Goodrich radial tires. The little center cap there, it's a decal, but it does say Z28. And here is the Z28 crossfire injection decal on the lower ground effects piece. The door handle and key lock, those are just stamped into the metal and they're just painted black. And there's your fuel filler door. And scanning down the passenger side, I wanted to point out the radio antenna. It's actually molded right into the front fender, so it's made of metal. And they painted it black, so hopefully it's a little more durable and maybe it won't break off so easy. And here's the back of the Z28. I think that the taillights are just clear, and the colors that you're seeing is probably painted on the inside, and it's just showing through. The blacked out area here is painted flat black, and they added a crossfire injection decal there on the lower part of the driver's side. That decal looks nice and clear. And then they kind of gave it equal treatment on the passenger side with a Z28 emblem. And I was kind of hoping you'd be able to see, a little bit of the exhaust on the car, but they've got it really tucked way up underneath there, and you can't see it at all. And even from this perspective, you can barely see the exhaust on the driver's side, and it looks like the passenger side is really tucked way up in there, and it's venting into the back side of the bumper cover. And here's a shot looking down through the hatch glass. Unfortunately, the hatch does not open, which is a little disappointing because they've got some decent detail of the trim panels, simulated carpet texturing, and two-tone seats. And now let's have a look under the hood. This hood does not stay open on its own, so I've got a little toothpick helper here. I think they give us some pretty good detail under there. I see the battery has a Delco decal on it. There's various rubber tubes and hoses. The air cleaner's got crossfire injection printed on it. And I believe that's the air conditioning compressor has a decal. And let's have a look at some of the interior details. For the most part, the interior is just made of all hard plastic. It's kind of painted overall the light gray with some black accents. And I've never really been a big fan of these really huge door hinges, but I guess that's what we get. And a little more of the interior. They give us a Z28 decal there in the glove box area. You can see the simulated carpeting texture. The seats are actually two-toned, light gray and dark gray. The seats are just in a fixed position though. There's no hinges, they're not posable. There's also no seat belts that are present either. I kind of like the dash and the radio cluster there and the shifter. You can kind of see they went a little crazy with the simulated carpeting texture, and the center console looks a little fuzzy. And here we are on the driver's side. A little more detail of the door and the massive hinge. I believe that the gauge faces are actually printed on there. They didn't look like they were a decal. Whatever they are, they look pretty good. And it looks like we get a little Camaro emblem in the center of the steering wheel there. There's a little more of our fuzzy center console. But I do like how they two-toned and textured the seats, though. That looks nice. And as you've most definitely noticed, this is a T-top car. They did provide us with the tops. They're made out of a transparent smoked plastic. And basically they have little pegs on them, and you just line up the pegs with the holes and they kind of just snap into place like that. I'm probably going to display the car with the T-tops off. I like the look a lot better, and which kind of makes me wish they maybe would have put a little more detail into the interior, since you can display it with the roof open like that. I wish they would have had a little bit more detail. And that also brings up another point, is if they would have made the rear hatch open up, you would have had a place to store your T-tops right there in the back. And here's the bottom of the Z28. You can see Sunstar's logo there. Of course, the front wheels are posable, but there is no active suspension at all. It's got a really funky exhaust system. I never would have expected it to quite look like that. And that says 1/18th 1982 Camaro, made in China. But look how funky that is. That's something else. And of course the rear tires spin. They're not hooked up to the drive shaft at all, and there is no active suspension. So this has been a review of Sunstar's 1982 Chevy Camaro Z28. Some of the features I liked: I thought the engine compartment had ample detail. I liked the simulated carpeting texture on the interior, even though the center console is a little furry. I liked the wheels and the white lettered tires. I think it just gives the car a personality all of its own. Since it's a T-top car, I wish they would have added a little more interior detail, such as posable seats, seat belts, and maybe getting rid of those massive door hinges. It also would have been nice if the rear hatch glass would have opened up. Then you would have had a place to store your T-tops. I think I'd only probably rate this car maybe a 6.5 out of 10.